The Northern Lights for the LibriVox Coffee Break Collection 11, Science. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Northern Lights from Scientific American, Volume 56, Number 9, February 26, 1887. When, in 1752, Franklin succeeded, through a kite sent up into a storm cloud, in obtaining an electric spark at the extremity of the cord, which had been made a conductor through the rain, it was no longer possible to doubt that lightning was but an immense electric discharge between two clouds, or a discharge between a cloud and the earth. This discovery was of great importance, since it connected with the laws of physics certain phenomena which, until then, had passed for marvelous, and in which nothing but supernatural and mysterious manifestations were seen. The aurora borealis, which is more difficult to understand, and which necessitates more extended scientific notions, has remained much longer unexplained. This enigmatic phenomenon was especially striking to the imagination of ancient peoples. It was regarded as an omen of inauspicious events, and the historians who describe it affirm that, at times, armies have been seen passing through the bloody heavens, and that the clash of arms has been heard. It is now known that the aurora borealis has the same origin as lightning, that it is one of the visible manifestations of atmospheric electricity, and that it is due to slow movements of that fluid, while lightning is the result of violent motions. The effects of the aurora and of the thunderbolt are absolutely different, but between them there is an intermediary that connects them, and this is heat lightning. These elementary notions are now the property of science, but the study of the aurora has hitherto been only partially outlined. Travelers and physicists have, indeed, given numerous descriptions, but it has remained to find the bonds that unite these so important phenomena in the economy of the globe, to study the causes that set them in action, to observe the correlations that they may offer, and to discuss theories. This is a labor that Mr. S. Lemstrom has been engaged in for several years, and we now propose to analyze the results published by this great Finnish physicist. The author of this important work, who has long been occupied in the study of the aurora borealis, so frequent in his country, was attached to the polar expedition made in 1868 by Nordenskjöld. He was led to begin a series of important observations. In 1871 he visited Finnish Lapland, and after a series of ingenious researches constructed an apparatus that permitted him to artificially reproduce the light of the aurora, and to present science with a summary of new and incontestable facts. Mr. Lemstrom has observed a large number of aurorae, and before touching upon theoretical questions, we shall give his description of one of the phenomena that seems to him to be the completest. On the 18th of October, 1868, the steamer Sophia was nearing the coast of Norway, after battling with a furious sea for 3 days in succession. Quote, "To the west of the horizon we remarked two strata of clouds that were clearly separated by a blue band of the heavens, crossed by a band striated with a pale yellow. It was the feeble beginning of an aurora, whose splendor was soon to surpass all the phenomena of the same kind that we had up till then observed. The edges of the upper stratum of clouds gradually lighted up, and we soon saw isolated flames issuing from them that sometimes rose to the zenith. Suddenly the phenomenon embraced the entire horizon. Everywhere were flames, everywhere were jets of brilliant light, yellow below, green in the center, and reddish violet above. In an instant all the rays united in a regular and dazzling crown, situated in the heavens to the south of the zenith. When the phenomenon reached the maximum of its intensity, it reminded us of the immense vault of a temple with a brilliant chandelier in the center. The apparition lasted but a few minutes, but on vanishing left behind it a luminous zone between the banks of clouds. From the upper bank there continued to emanate, at short intervals, isolated rays that rose to the zenith, and there formed the fragments of a crown. The edges of the banks of clouds remained luminous, although the rays had disappeared." Unquote. According to Mr. Lemstrom, Figure 1 gives an idea, although a feeble one, of the phenomenon at its height. It reproduces only half of the horizon, and the reader may supply the missing portion of this grand spectacle in imagination. The streams of light verging toward a common center were alternately rose-colored and pale yellow, and overlooked an immense violet zone. The rosette in the center was of a beautiful red and stood out upon a greenish-blue circle. Figure 2 represents an aurora that was observed on the 19th of November, 1871, in Finnish Lapland. At the beginning, and at 30 degrees above the horizon, it formed an arch from whence rose waves of light, and which gradually ascended. The figure shows it when it had reached about 60 degrees above the horizon. The base of the aurora was yellow, and the oblique and very brilliant rays were, slightly higher up, rosy, violet, and blue. The colors of the polar light are usually clear and bright, but never did they exhibit greater luster than on this occasion. Figure 3 gives an idea of the variety of forms that the phenomenon may affect. It represents an aurora that was observed at the presbytery of Venere on the 16th of November, 1871. The aurora this time took on the form of a glowing red band, curved as shown in the figure. The two extremities bordered on yellow and green. There is another form of aurora frequently observed in northern countries, and that is the one that is seen to occur above clouds, and that has the appearance of a wide piece of drapery with undulating folds. As it is the form most usually represented, we shall not dwell upon it. On the contrary, we shall speak of other phenomena of the same origin, and much less known, that Mr. Lemstrom describes. It concerns those auroral lights that shine at the edges of clouds, or that form around the tops of the mountains in Spitzbergen or in the alpine districts of Lapland. According to the Finnish observer, it would be impossible to tell by the naked eye whence this light comes, but, by means of a spectroscope, we find that it is of the same nature as the aurora. Sometimes these strange lights take on the form of flames, of but little brightness, which at short intervals rise from the crest of the mountain and suddenly vanish. Figure 4. These phenomena sometimes exhibit themselves at the level of the earth's surface or upon the roofs of houses. Finally, Mr. Lemstrom describes the diffuse light which sometimes fills the atmosphere of the polar regions, thus proving that the phenomenon shows itself from time to time in the vicinity of the earth itself. Meteors of the same nature as the light of the aurorae borealis do not occur solely in the polar regions, and the author demonstrates, not without attaching much importance to it from the standpoint of the theories to which he has been led, that they are observed in other countries of the earth. In Peru, Bolivia, and Chile, the summits of the mountains are often seen illuminated by a brilliant light. This light, which occurs especially in summer, has been compared to heat lightning by scientists. Similar observations have been made in the Swiss Alps. Dr. de Saussure has seen electricity escape through all the projecting parts of objects, and the same phenomena has been observed upon the high plateaus of Mexico. Again, we may cite the fact that Brewster observed a light upon a church tower during an aurora borealis. In every country, phenomena similar to polarized light may occur. La Nature. End of The Northern Lights,